All right, everyone, we are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, make sure you guys go to dynastymirror.com. Again, make sure you guys go to dynastymirror.com. While you're there, buy some merchandise, buy the new release, new children's book, It's Libation Time, a children's guide to the ancestors. Make sure you guys cop that. And then join the email list. Make sure you subscribe to the email list as well, so you guys can stay up to date in regards to what's going on with the brand Dynasty Mirror. Like, share, and subscribe to the content. Again, like, share, and subscribe to the content. We would really appreciate your guys' support. And become a monthly Patreon. Let me go ahead and get that rolling. The ticker at the bottom. Become a monthly Patreon. Patreon.com. Search for Huru. Without further ado, we have a special guest on with us today, Mr. Mark Blanton, all the way in South Africa by way of Virginia, or
Northern Virginia, right outside the DC area. Yeah.
Okay, you said Norfolk?
Nah, the Northern Virginia, like Alexandria, okay. Stafford, Woodbridge area. Yeah.
Silver Spring?
No,
Virginia. That's Maryland. I'm sure that's.
Yeah, that's Maryland. Yeah. I'm close to there, but no, just like I said, Alexandria, Northern Virginia, just before you get ready to go into DC.
Got you. So, Brother Blanton was, I guess, born and raised in the U.S.
Yep.
And now you're in South Africa.
Yes.
Okay. What brought you to South Africa? Now, years ago, I watched a documentary called Blacks Without Borders, I think it was called. Or
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah. So what brought you to South Africa? And what other countries in Africa did you visit, and how did you settle on South Africa?
Well, that's a good question. I actually only been to 2 countries on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
To be told, I went to Mozambique when I turned 50. That was my little getaway and whatnot. Now, how did I get here? Like you just mentioned, the Blacks Without Borders, living the American dream in South Africa. I saw that like in 2009, 2010, mm-hmm. And I was blown away. I was like, this doesn't make any sense, And at that point, I had traveled to pretty much most of the world. Because of my previous employment, when I was, working for the Secret Service, I was on the VP detail, I was on the presidential side as well. So I ended up getting an opportunity to travel pretty much everywhere. You name it, I've been there. And at the same time, it was funny. At the same time, the World Cup happened, 2010.
Right.
And it's not something that we in the U.S. are like, oh my God, the World Cup, but everywhere else in the world is like the World Cup. So I ended up coming in for the World Cup with Vice President Biden at the time, and I was shocked. It was literally mirrored everything that was in that video. Blacks Without Borders, living the American dream in South Africa. I saw that, and then I came here, and it mirrored it, and that's how my journey started.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been in South Africa now?
Well, like I said, we was going back and forth since 2010 to 2018. I was kind of all like every 2 or 3 months I was here. I would spend like a couple of weeks or maybe a month, and then I would leave. But then it got to the point where it was like it just made more sense to be here in South Africa. So I got here in 2018, and I haven't left.
Okay, now when you left to go to South Africa, did you pretty much cut everything, all your ties with America, as far as like, I don't know if you own anything in America? Did you just sell everything and say, you know what, I'm gone permanently, or are you still kind of back and forth?
No, I actually got rid of everything. At the time, we had a very nice business that we owned. Me and my wife owned a physical therapy company. We had different locations throughout Stafford. We owned our own home. I had cars. I had 5 cars or whatever. Had a lot going on for myself in the U.S. It's just that it felt more comfortable being on this side. When I say this side, I mean South Africa. Just more comfortable. It just felt better. Even we owned our own business, had employees and everything that's associated with that. It just felt better just being over here than being in the States.
Mm-hmm. So you guys sold everything, your home?
I sold the 911, which was the hardest. I sold the classic 300ZX twin turbo red. I sold the ML 550. I sold the SL 500, and then my wife had what did she have? She had a Fiat 500. That's what she wanted. She got it. And like I said, we sold the company, which we would have been here a lot sooner, but selling the company properly takes some time, and so forth. Just getting all the buyers, going through the due diligence, and so forth, and just doing the entire transaction. It took an extended period of time, so I would have been here sooner. It just took close to a year just to sell the company.
And you sold your house too.
Oh yeah, I was done with that house. Yeah, house. Yeah.
Oh wow. So you know what's amazing? So was your wife always on board when you decided, like, look, we're leaving? Because I always hear stories of sometimes one of the spouses are ready to make the move, and the other spouse is like, nah, we're not going. Was your wife always on board?
Yeah, actually, she was. She was on board the entire time. Granted, she's from Virginia. She liked Virginia. She liked everything about Virginia and whatnot. But again, she was just like me. We'd be there 2 or 3 months, 4 months, dealing with all the normal things that we had to deal with, and then we'd come here and we could just relax. And it wasn't just me; it was her too. She was like, "Man, I can't wait to get back to South Africa." So that's what. So she was on board too.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Guys, make sure you hit that like button again. Make sure you hit that like button as you come to the chat room again. Please hit that like button, you guys. Now, tell us a little bit more about you guys had businesses in Virginia and America.
Yeah.
Tell us a little more background on everything you guys had in America before you left.
It's too easy. Yeah, like I said, we had a very nice home on an acre. It was just me and my wife, and we had a 4-bedroom. All this stuff.
You have kids?
Yeah, I have a daughter. I mean, she's back then. Let's see. I mean, she graduated high school in 2016, so she was 18. So now she's 22. So she can come here anytime.
Is she? Oh, so she's back in the States.
Yeah. She's in Texas. Yeah, she came to me many years ago after she finished at Norfolk State and said, "Hey, I want to be a flight attendant," and so that's what she wanted to do. So go for it, and she's happy. So, which she knew she's been here 4 times with me, and so forth. She understands, the draw and the attraction, and plus on top of that, she knew what I wanted to do. So she's, very proud of the fact that I was able to make it happen. So it worked out pretty well.
Now, which city are you guys in South Africa currently?
We're actually right in Johannesburg, right on the very edge of Johannesburg, going into Pretoria. So yeah, that's where we are right now.
Okay, a couple things. So a lot of people say, you know what, I'm not going to South Africa. The whites still dominate the economy. The whites still dominate everything. What would be your response to that?
Real response is, it's funny. If it means nothing to you to be part of the majority, which most of us never really have the opportunity, then of course, you will make that argument. But here we are in the majority. They're in the minority. So let's just look at it like this. They're in the minority. I mean, do we expect them to not be able to achieve and do anything? It's just like in the United States, Black people, we are in the minority. We are clearly in the minority, but we get to achieve. We do stuff. We get to, own businesses. We get to, become, NBA players and coaches and things along that line. So it's not like just because you're in the minority, you don't have any chance of success, but you have a greater chance of success, just like in the U.S. when you are white. And that's just the way it is, and we all know it. I just noticed that what's his name, Steve Nash, who never had an opportunity, who never been a coach.
Right.
But now he went straight from nowhere. Now he retired, basketball player. Now he's a head coach. Then you got brothers they've been going through, Sam Cassell and others been going through it forever.
You got Mark Jackson built the Warriors, and then they just
But over here, it's the total opposite. You do have white people here. They do. I see them from time to time. It's not like I see them all the time. I really don't. I can go days without seeing white people, and I'm in Johannesburg. I'm assuming they're okay. It's just not my concern. so to speak. You know, it sounds bad, but it's really not my concern.
Mm-hmm. What now? Somebody brought up in the chat room. I guess someone said there's 21,000 murders in South Africa this year. Like, what's the nickname for Johannesburg? Crimeburg, or what do you? Since you're there on the ground,
Well,
like,
honestly, I mean, and like I said, you know, there's a large expat community here, and we get together all the time. Matter of fact, we get together maybe once a quarter. There's one guy that kind of says, "Hey, let's all get together," and we just meet at wherever we can meet. The last time we had a meeting, I hosted it here at Blue Valley Golf Estate. That's where I live. Now, with that being said, we had a couple that went back to the U.S., a black couple, influential couple, went back to the States to check on his daughter and whatnot. And he was from Pennsylvania, but his daughter went to college at High Point University. And you might not know his name and whatnot, but he was on national news for getting pulled over by the police. And the cops followed him to his house. He pulled in the front yard. The cops pulled him out of his car, laid the whole family out and everything. It was actually on national news there. This was basically about a year ago, and that happened to him. And so when he got back doing this meeting, he kind of told because everybody wanted to know what happened. He told everybody what happened, and then he said, "And we were just so glad to get back to South Africa." Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah. And then the funny part about this, we take a lot of calls because obviously we're in the tourism business. And we do what we can to get people to come visit South Africa so they can see it for themselves. And we get a lot of people that said they come with I heard this, I heard that. And I always say, don't hurt on me, because I'm here every day. And most people don't experience the levels of crime or can say, oh yeah, that happened to me, or that happened to me. Does crime exist here? I can tell you this: I don't travel this whole earth, and it's a lot of crime everywhere. And I can honestly tell you, just living outside the DC metropolitan area and working there every day, I saw more crime, more homeless people, more things there than I see here. Now, again, I would love for someone to just come here and just kind of spend a little bit of time. Then they'll see that, wow, it's not as advertised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been to Durban, I've been to Cape Town, I've been to Joburg as well. So I tell people,
did something happen to you?
No, of course not. No. I'm just people asking the chat room. So I just because I already know it's worse over here in America than anywhere in Africa. So I tell everyone, my favorite airport is the airport in Joburg.
That's my favorite airport. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I go to there's a spot called Out of Africa. Is it called Out of Africa?
It's called Out of Africa. They sell a lot of
gear. Stuff. Yeah, so I bought like some of my first African art I bought there when I came back to America. So yeah, that's where that's my favorite airport. And then I know now the dollar is really strong in South Africa because the rand is kind of weak. So I guess that's a good thing as well.
It's a great thing. It's kind of like a massive raise, simply because, like I said, when I first came here, it was high when I got here. It was one US dollar equal 10 South African rands. That was back in 2010. Now it is $1 US equals 17 US rand.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, so that means that you can come here with very little means and do very, very well versus trying to struggle. There's no point of that, but it is what it is.
Man, guys, make sure again hit that like button. We have 130 people watching, only 42 likes. Guys, hit the like button, please. That's right. We can't even get y'all to hit a like button. You provide all these resources for people, and they can't even hit a like button. I mean, goodness. Let's see here. So tell us about the Real South Africa. Your guys. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, it's funny because it was named the Real South Africa simply because we want to show you and we want to get you involved in the real South Africa, like what's really going on, what really happens here. If you're here with us, there's a festival going on, we're going to the festival. If there's a jazz event going on, we're going to that. if there's some special event, which again, we bring people here and they're like, so what is that? So we take them to it, and they think it's like a special event. Oh, is it the black this or the black that? And we're like, no, it's just Tuesday. This is just the way it is. So our company, first of all, we're the only African American company in Johannesburg that do what we do. We're the only ones, first of all. Second of all, we are tied in with South Africa Tourism, all the other non-tourism bureaus, and everything tourism, anything that moves tourism-wise, we are involved as African Americans. And the good part about it is because they actually do. They do have a large contingency of Europeans coming down here and so forth, but they would really like for African Americans to come down here, and that's why they support us in our efforts, because they feel the same way we feel that they should come. So that's the basis of our company, and that's what we do.
Now, as far as so, do you guys own a home in South Africa?
I'm sitting in it right now.
Now, how's that process? So you could be so how does it work as far as citizenship, a home ownership? Because I was told that you have to be a citizen in South Africa. You have to be a citizen. Foreigners couldn't own land, but I guess I'm wrong. Like what?
Well, yeah, actually, you can own land. You can buy into a business. You can start your own business. You can pretty much. I mean, it's very friendly down here in reference to buying homes. Like if you decided you wanted to purchase one, you can. They have banks here. They have all kind of different avenues to actually purchase your home. You can buy one that's existing. You can actually, hire an architect, buy you a plot of land. They call it a stand, and start building. I mean, there's 900 ways to buy a home. And then the good part about it is, I mean, in most communities, you won't find like, you go into like to the community you want to go into, and then you find like, they give you 5 different choices of the houses you want to build. You can build it any way you want, and that's what they expect. They're not really, from what I've seen, and since I've been through the process, they're not really into like, okay, you got 5 plans to choose from, pick one. And so my house isn't different from the guys down the street. So that's kind of how that works as far as homes. Keep in mind that this is right now it's a buyer's market. It's ridiculously a buyer's market. Like I said, especially with the U.S. dollar as strong as it is right now, you can buy a sprawling home, probably like something that you would find in the U.S. for $900,000. You can get it for like $250,000-300,000. And then the houses, the way they're constructed, they're actually brick and concrete. Most, no wood.
Well, yeah, see, it's funny because like in America, everything's wood, as far as plywood, but in Africa, everything's concrete. And so, but I've heard, mixed reviews as far as plywood's better than concrete, and then I've heard concrete's better. Like I haven't gotten like a consensus on which is better as far as when building.
Well, I can tell you here that they most of the people that I know here, they build their homes and they plan on being in them for generations, simply because they're built out of brick. I mean, like everything, even my stairs that I'm looking at right now are built out of brick. I mean, you wouldn't know. You would think they're finished, but yeah, they're built out of brick.
Yeah. Now, from understanding, it can be easier for African Americans to transition to South Africa because the system is very similar to America, from my understanding. Is that true?
Yes, I would say it is, simply because of the, as Americans, we, obviously you realize that we are, we got to have a certain amount of things, certain infrastructure has to exist for us to be comfortable. One of the questions we get, how's the internet here? I'm like, and then I pull out my phone, do a speed test, and tell them the numbers, and they say, "Wow, that's great." I said, "Well, yeah, because this is South Africa. It is what it is." But yeah, the infrastructure's here. Everybody tends to come here, and they are astounded in what they see.
Now, as far as citizenship, how's that process? Like, have you kind of went through that yet, or?
Yeah. No, it's a process, just like, I mean, when I walked around in the United States, like every day, I never thought about when people talk about immigration, and I see people out here talking about it on TV, and I'm a U.S. citizen, so it's not something that I have to worry about. But now I understand, the plight, and even with the current president trying to stop people from going through the process, it is a process, and it could be extensive. I've had Canadian friends that are married American people, American women, and here it is 10 years later, and they're still waiting on their paperwork to become a citizen. What I will say is this, as far as South Africa is concerned, that 90-day free visa that they give you, that tourist visa, is good. It gives you an opportunity to do a lot of things. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually, while you're here, extend it another 90 days. So that gives you like a half a year, 180 days to basically, try to find your way. You're here legally. And then in some cases, you can upgrade it to a temporary residence based on what you find or what you're trying to do, like start a business or things along those lines. So it is a process. So most of the time people start out with the tourist visa, and then ultimately there's different temporary residencies you can get. But generally, after spending 5 years in country, you can either apply for a permanent residency, which is very similar, if not similar or the same as a citizenship. People always are, they want to go straight to the top. I just want to be a citizen, and I'm like, a permanent residency is serious. You basically can access the whole country, do whatever you need to do. You just can't vote. And then after 5 years, if you want to apply for citizenship, you can apply. So there is a pathway to do it. You can't just start out from, I'm an American, now I just want to be a South African citizenship. I want to fill out a piece of paper and then I'm there. But there is a process. And once you get in the process, you're in the process.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Guys, if you want to call in and ask a question, the email is in the chat room. Again, if you want to call in and ask a question, you guys, send me an email and I will send you the link, and you're more than welcome to call in. And guys, please hit that like button again. Please hit the like button. And once again, link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Click on that link, call in. So the whole idea, so you're saying Black people who want to relocate to Africa should consider South Africa, and the whites control everything. Leave that, because that's
and it's just, to me, it's just funny. But they do, things are changing fast. I mean, think about it. They only been a democracy in the manner in which they are now 26 years. And the governments and all the provincial governments, which are the states, and of course their federal government, they're all Black. The president here, Cyril Ramaphosa, he does a great job here. I'm gonna say he's doing better than the current U.S. president. But yeah, I mean, everybody's Black. A lot of people that are here are business owners. They run their own thing. A lot of people do, and of course, you do have a lot of people who are trying to get into the middle class, and there's a very large middle class here, which didn't exist several years ago. Now it exists, so it's happening here, and that's why the rest of the world, especially the Europeans, are here. They come here. They will risk it to come here simply because they can see it once they get here.
Guys, make sure you hit that like button again. Hit that like button again. I put my email address in the chat room. If you want to call in and ask a question, send me email, and we will get you guys on. So I'm Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of xenophobia and issues towards Nigerians.
Yes, it's true.
How should I maneuver around South Africa? Because I'm dual citizen, South Africa, American and Nigerian.
Sure.
So
yeah, that's a very easy answer. Well, your first key to success is that you talk the way you talk. So they're not going to say you're Nigerian. They're not even going to think it. First of all, they're going to think you're South African. They all will.
Right.
Me, they think I'm South African like everywhere I go until I start talking. And
Right.
then they're like, oh, you're not South African. Oh, I thought you were Zulu. I'm like, no. And then they're like, oh, okay. Then they adjust accordingly. Everybody speaks English now. So anybody that comes here, it has nothing to do with your skin tone, because as you probably already know, you got light-skinned South Africans. You'll see more albino or albino people here than I've seen anywhere in the world. And you'll see all the skin tones here. Keep in mind, when we say culture in the U.S., we're thinking of different races, and that's like the normal thing. But here, when I say culture, it's the different cultures, the Indabellis, the Zulus, the Kosas, all that stuff you saw in the Black Panther movies is here. Everything that you saw in Black Panther is here, and those are considered different cultures. Even though we're all Black, they look at you, based on your culture. So as far as if you came to South Africa tomorrow, I mean, the way you speak, you will be fine, and then you just matriculate and just act like a cool guy or whatever, and you won't have any issues at all.
Okay. Now, what was really going on since you were on the ground as far as the
Okay.
xenophobia?
Easy. Okay.
Yeah, what was really going on?
Well, the thing is, and this is what I know to be true. Matter of fact, the last thing that flared up roughly about a year ago, or maybe a little less, I was actually down in the Joburg CBD at a business meeting, actually a large business meeting, and they were saying then that everybody was getting messages on their phone saying there's something going on down here in the CBD. Well, we're on a high rise, we're like on the 14th floor, and we're looking down and we didn't see anything. So I'm sure something was happening. What was actually happening as time went on, that here, the Nigerians are known for, doing, drug dealing, trafficking women. I'm just telling you, this is what as you asked, this is what they're known to be doing here in South Africa. And just petty crimes like stealing people's identities and things along that line. So what happened was, one of several of the taxi drivers, they take people around. I'm sure you may have seen them. They're like little vans, and they just pick people up, take them around, pick them up. South Africans don't like that kind of stuff, and so they kind of confronted the guy, and then it got into a big brouhaha, and then they just said it was, and of course it was down in some of the economically challenged areas, and so they just made it sound like it was a mass of people going across the street like what's going on now in the U.S., but it really wasn't anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the main thing is they don't have a problem with most people, but what's happening here, from what I know, is that they don't like people who come here and cause issues,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just down to the local person. They really do feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but aren't the white people causing the same issues?
And that's why you get all the news on their TV when something happens here. It says, "Oh yeah, there's crime. There's so much crime," because what happened is, for example, SABC, which you may or may not know, is South African Broadcasting Company.
Right.
They have their own news. They have their own everything. Well, they don't get to report the news to the Western world. The Western world brings their own reporters here. So when something, and they're generally white. So when something happens to white people, that's when they report. But white people, just like the white people in the U.S., they step out of line from time to time. But Black people here, just like, I don't have to put up with this.
Right.
And here we are. We don't, Black people don't go after them, but white people tend to do what they do here. For example, if I took you to the mall right now, and if you decided not to wear a mask, even as a Black person, you're going to have a problem. You will wear a mask. Yeah, everybody's wearing a mask because the president said so. But you'll get a white person down in Cape Town that don't want to wear a mask. And then here we are. So, yeah.
All right. Guys, again, if you want to call in, emails in the chat room, click on that email, sign up. Send me an email and I will send you the link and you guys can call in. Do you plan on ever going back to America? Like, just, have you had any
Um,
moments, like, have you had any adversity since you've been in South Africa? Like, you know what, I'm done, I'm going back.
No, it's funny you say that, because of what we do, and then people are, finding us through our YouTube channel, which is the Real South Africa on YouTube, and our other social media platforms. They always want to know about. I'm just going to say they're in Ghana, and they're asking about South Africa, and a lot of them are saying, "Hey, I'm just going to come down there." They may have already came on a visit on their own, or there's a few people that are scheduling with us to come to South Africa. But no, I am more comfortable across the board here than I could ever be in the US. And like I said, I had some of the best government jobs. I own the companies, I've done all that. And that right there didn't make me feel comfortable, secure, being around Black people, being African for real, it's a real thing. So a lot of us that are here, most of us have zero intentions of going back. Like, why?
Where do you, okay, since you kind of worked behind the scenes for the government, what direction do you see America going in? If you could, like, what are your thoughts on America, the current direction is going in?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I got friends here in South Africa that are like, don't go back.
Uh-huh.
Don't, don't, why aren't, and then they ask the same questions. I don't understand why the African Americans don't come back to South Africa or come back to Africa in general. And I think one girl put on our YouTube channel, she said, the African Americans need to settle their issues with Western Africa, but South Africa or Southern Africa ain't done nothing to you, or whatever the case may be. Now, again, that's just one comment out of many. I think most Africans want to see African Americans doing very well, but it's not even my opinion. Is now because of of all the social media, the messages that I get here from government officials here, all the way down to a person that I would meet on the street, they don't see America favorably at all. And the way I see it, I'm just looking at the history. Just look at our history. I mean, we've been fighting this fight for an extreme period of time, and they have zero intentions of giving up what the ground that they have gained. I mean, they already killed a whole race of people called the Indians. They have done the most, and they even fought themselves to keep what they got, during the Civil War and so forth. They have zero intentions of trying to cut a deal, work a deal, even be civil. They have zero intentions. So I mean, as far as the way I see it, you have a choice. You either can, like I did for 49 years, deal with it. We all know how to code switch. We know how to adapt, and there's nothing wrong with it. However, when you get an opportunity not to have to do that and live free,
All right.
and when I say free, I mean not like living like getting a government check or something, but actually get an opportunity to be Black and don't think about it, then you will see the difference.
Yeah, I just think I just think a lot of Black Americans have this idea, like, number one, like, there's nothing else exists outside of America. Like, it's just, yeah, and then they have this. In fact, what's your idea on this? We built this country, so we're old, and this country is just as much as ours as it is the white person or whoever. Like, when people say that, what's your response to statements like that?
No, it's true. Those are the facts. Those are straight facts, and I do agree. However, what I will say is, you know what? Right now, I'm sitting here in South Africa, and when I can ask anything in the United States, I can go there without having to worry about getting a visa. It's the largest economy in the world. So since we did build it, let's use it to our advantage. Let's exploit it like everybody else that come there for X amount of years, make good money, come or start a business and whatnot. Let's exploit it, but let's do what we need to do on this side. Let's raise our families, build our homes, and just because we do have access to America, let's go there and do what we need to do, just like everyone else. We don't have to give up anything. We can actually gain by coming to Africa, and they will welcome us, so we can have everything America has, and we can have everything Africa has. We don't have to just bundle it in some little small town and call it Atlanta or DC and Detroit and say this is our existence. We can have all of that and this. That's the way I see it.
Now, South Africa might be exempt from this question that I'm about to bring up. For those that say, you know what, I'm not going to go to Africa because in many other places it doesn't have the same infrastructure as America. World-class infrastructure as America. What would be your response to that?
I would say you obviously haven't been to South Africa. It's clear you haven't. You asked me, have I been to most of the major American cities? I'm going to say yes. I spent much time. I don't know if you can see this little star on my chest, but that took me to a lot of major cities, a lot of places. If a president goes there or a vice president goes there, I've been several times. I've been throughout Europe. I've been throughout Asia. I've been through South America, Central, everywhere. Anywhere I go, I've been. And like I said, it took me one time being here to realize that this is first world here. It's very, very. They got their challenges like a lot, like America in a lot of ways. Like right now, all this racial stuff and all this stuff that's killing the black men, and just the whole our community being kind of pushed to the margins. Some of us remember what happened in New Orleans with the flooding and Katrina and things like that. Come on now. Nothing's going to change. So I would say you've never been to South Africa. I've had friends that are here that go to certain places and on the continent, which is much larger than the U.S. anyway, and they have the best time, and they don't miss being in the U.S. They just don't. Now, you guys might have a different brand of something that we don't have, but I can promise you.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get back on the continent, man. I'm not gonna miss this place.
Yeah, we got black-centric brands that are here that African Americans will never have access to unless you come here on the continent. Just like you name one store out of Africa, I can name 40 stores that hell, I can, what's that shoe store? Elise? They don't have that in the US. It's here. The Cox Sportif, which is back in the day, this is my day, when Will Smith first came out. It's here. Everything is here. Hell, Woolworths is here. Right. It's here. It's not in the US, but most of the things that US has is here. Most of the brands, most of the hell, I'm watching Showmax, right? I was watching Showmax. This is like a Netflix. You do have Netflix. Showmax is something that you can't get in the US. All the shows that are in the US are here. They're on Showmax. Pay like $4 a month, and I got all the shows as if I was sitting in the United States. So at the end of the day, it's easy for someone in the US to say, oh, I heard this or I heard that. And I get it. I used to feel the same way. And now that I'm here, I'm like, I got access to more stuff than I've ever had access to before. And it's more affordable.
Mark, I told myself that I was never going to go back to South Africa. But, honestly, my favorite country in that area, I love Namibia. You ever been to Namibia yet?
Nope, but I'm it's nice on that side of town. Yeah. Yeah. If all the diamonds are, you didn't know that, did you? It's a lot of diamonds over there.
Namibia. Yeah, so I've been in Namibia. I loved it. And I was supposed to go back, but then my flights got canceled. It's like every time I try to get to Namibia, just something happens. So, but you know what? I'm gonna come, since I know you're in Joburg, I'm gonna come. If I come back to South Africa, I'm gonna come holler at you. I'm a West Africa cat. So I'm like, I gotta explore my thing is West Africa. But
everybody has their thing. I don't care. And me personally, like I said, I like South Africa. It's treated me better than my hometown. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I got friends everywhere. I'm a brother no matter where I go. And I love it. I will say this though, I don't care, You could use a DNA test or whatever. Just get to Africa.
Get to
If
Africa.
you're African American, just get to. Just get to Africa, anywhere on the continent, and then you will see the difference of the way things are where you are now and way it's done in Africa. And a lot of times you will start embracing Africa as a second home once you start, spending time. And it could be a second home, for a lot of people. But you got to get off the internet sometimes, and sometimes you got to get on a plane, and you have to just land and just enjoy yourself. And it's very possible. Very possible. You ain't got to get on a boat and come back the way we came before.
Yeah, right. The way we left.
Yeah, you can actually just. I mean, it's funny. Like if you flew out of anywhere on the East Coast, primarily New York, DC, or Atlanta, you're gonna pay. It can go up and down, but roughly about $800.
Yeah,
roughly.
Round trip.
Easy.
Yeah,
round trip, all the way, food and everything, drinks. I drink everything they got on the plane.
And then also too out of Miami. I think South African Airways, their main hubs in Miami.
Yeah, actually it is. Man, it's pretty good. But yeah, that's where their offices are. The funny part about it is if you flew to the West Coast, you flew to LA, you're gonna pay almost the same. And if you're talking about going to Hawaii, you're gonna pay more. Mm-hmm. So it's really, and this is all the way to South Africa. That's a long way. It's a long way, and so it's not as because the only reason I bring it up because we'll be talking to people and they say, "Oh, that flight must be really expensive."
Yeah, man. It's like, I heard to go to Africa, $3,000. I'm like, where you get these numbers from? I'm like, where you get these numbers from?
I don't know where you got. Yeah.
I'm like, where you get these numbers from?
Yeah. So
I had to pay more than $1,000 for a ticket. Only time in years. Like every time I fly out of New York or DC.
Yep.
That's less than $1,000 round trip. But for some reason people say, yeah, man, it's $3,000 to go to Africa. Yeah. Where you get these numbers from?
Yeah. Well, and I get it. People got these preconceived notions, and people are spreading around, rumors and things along that line, and they believe it. But then when they go online and they look at the prices, and then they call me back and said, "Mark, it's only $800." I said, "I told you that over the phone." And I got a passport, my old passport. It's stamped out, and it basically says "O.R. Tambo Airport, South Africa." That's the only place I need to go.
Yeah, like I said, I love the South African airport. That's the nicest airport. Like I love it. That's the nicest airport I've been to. No, now Dubai's airport is nice, but I love South Africa's airport, man. Yeah. Tambo International. Like I literally, when I used to go to East Africa, I would just make sure I would just book my ticket out of South Africa so I could just fly from Kenya or Tanzania to Tambo and just chilling. I don't know, just fly out of Tambo. I don't know. I would just do that. Guys, I sent the link out to 2 people. All right. You have those links in your email. So if you're going to call in, click on the link and hop on. If not, we'll start closing out. Again, guys, we have 340 people watching. So please hit that like button. Again, guys, please hit that like button. So what other projects are you guys working on in South Africa?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that. First of all, you can obviously find us at therealsouthafrica.com. That's our website. Also on that website, you can find the link to our YouTube page. But if you go to YouTube, put The Real South Africa, we'll pop up and whatnot. But the tourism space here is very serious. You know how the Department of Defense is big in the U.S. Mm-hmm. That's because most of the people, 24 million people, work in the tourism industry here in South Africa. So what we're doing now, we're doing a couple things, and they welcome us to assist. Like, for example, there's the places that everybody go when they come to South Africa, and you need to go to those places. You just have to. But there's a lot of what we call hidden gems. Like there's a lot of locations that the average person would not know. So we're doing everything to get those guys on the map, get those guys recognized. We're partnering with the South Africa Tourism. We're partnering with those guys as well. Also, too, we're working with some of the business people on this side. So because they're looking for people to come here and open up businesses and bring jobs. So we're working with those guys. Matter of fact, I just had a call earlier today. Major companies are looking for investors. American investors. If that's something that people are interested in doing, that's great. What else? I mean, you name it. We're on this side. We're doing it simply because we get. Hell, I got requested. Hey, if you know anybody in the U.S. that's looking at trying to get into agriculture, hey, give them our information because we really want to partner with people in the U.S. The good part about this whole process is that I'm finding that a lot of entities here in South Africa really want to partner with African Americans. They do, and start businesses and help start businesses. Anything that we could do, because at the end of the day, they want us to bring jobs. Bringing jobs is, hey, I come, I set up my shop. It could be something small. Obviously, they're gonna want to work with you or work for you. But they want to see us. They see us in these spaces. We just don't see us in those spaces.
Now, as far as staff setting up a business, how's that process? So if I come, I want to set up a business, get incorporated or however they do it in South Africa. How's that process?
It's very similar to the U.S. I've done it in the U.S. It's not hard. It's not hard to obviously start an LLC and so forth. But the whole process of going through the Small Business Association, and I'm going to tell you, this is just my experience. I mean, as big as our businesses were, it was very difficult to get anything out of them. And I just figured out that they wasn't going to finance their demise. So we did it. We did it on our own, and we did very well. Here is a different ball game. They will assist you from.
One second, Scott Caesar, you got to turn off the playback. All right, go ahead, Mr. Blanton.
Yeah, but they will assist you from start to finish. I mean, literally like, for example, my business guy, Derek, that I deal with, he will help you get incorporated. He will help you find investors. He will vet all the paperwork. He will make sure that everything is on point. Because in 2015, we started a business. We had a store here from 2015. Really? Yeah, from 2015 to 2017, we had a store here, and I went with Derek. Yep, and Derek took care of me. And so now when people ask me about business, I always refer to Derek because he's and matter of fact, if you go to our YouTube page, The Real South Africa, you will see an interview I did with.
I'll put some notes down real quick. So as far as the cost is, and it's Scott, I'll let you ask your question. So if I wanted to start a business while I'm here in America or get incorporated in South Africa while I'm here in America, is that possible?
It is possible. You got to get somebody on the ground that can who knows the business, who knows how it all works. And so that's why, like I said, Derek is the guy that I deal with. I did an interview with him on my YouTube channel, and people just start, and I put his contact details in the description. And he's answering questions. He's assisting people in trying to with their ideas, because what people really don't realize, and I'm just going to tell you straight up, is that there's so much opportunity. If you can think about it, you can make it work here. Anything, whatever you want to do, you can do it. But if you just don't come here, and it's just not going to work. And then, like I said, there's too many business incubators, especially in Johannesburg and Durban, that are literally sitting there saying, "How can I help you?"
Wow. Scott Caesar, go ahead. Oh,
yeah.
Scott Caesar, go ahead.
Thanks for having me on the show. So I was just wondering, what parts of the country could somebody potentially get more exposed to the more indigenous aspects of the culture? Like, I haven't been to Africa before, and I don't necessarily want to be. I mean, I understand South Africa is a good point as far as like Westerners trying to transition and get back to our African roots. Like outside of like the city areas, like what places can you recommend for somebody who wants a broader like cultural immersion?
I would say KwaZulu-Natal, but it's just when I went, it was still real. It got real westernized. Like, I tell you a true story. So I go to I land at KwaZulu-Natal at what's Shaka? That's Zulu, Shaka Zulu Airport, right?
Shaka Zulu Airport.
Yeah. So I land.
Well, first of all, it's KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah, you're saying it wrong. Yeah. You're offending a whole bunch of cultured people here.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my bad. So I remember I asked, I said, "Hey, I want to see the Zulu. Like, I want to see the Zulu." And they're like, okay. So they take me to this place called Zululand, right?
Mhm.
So I hop out the car, and so like you said, they don't know where you from, when they see you. So they thought I
Yeah,
was Zulu. So they start. So I hop out. There's dudes in polo shirts and skinny jeans.
yeah, that's about right.
Right. And so they started speaking Zulu to me, and I said, I don't know. And they were like, American. And so they sprint off, and then they come back out in their Zulu attire, and then they just started performing. So from what I've been told, is like it's been so westernized that like when I go to Mali, I can still go see the Dogon. When I'm in Nigeria, I can still go see the Yoruba and experience the culture. When I'm in Kenya, I can sit amongst the Maasai. When I'm in Namibia, I can go with the Himba. But from what I've been told, I could be wrong because you've been there longer than me, Mr. Bland. That
Oh yeah, I can tell you.
I've been told that it's kind of it's that part is kind of unless you come for like a festival, it's kind of like yeah. Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
Actually, because I spend a lot of time here, obviously. The culture is serious here. It's very serious. There, like in Johannesburg, I mean, it's a metropolitan area. So of course you're gonna have, but when you're here, if you're just walking around, you think everybody's the same, you're sadly mistaken. They will quickly tell you that I'm not Kosa. I'm this. And if you don't ask any questions, and think, well, that person must be Kosa too. They're gonna say, no, I'm in the belly, and then this person gonna say I'm Shona, I'm this, I'm that. There's 11 different cultures right here in South Africa. Now, when you're in the built up areas, of course, I mean you're doing business, but a lot of South Africans, especially the black ones, and still they go home where mama is, they go home where grandma is. So you get a lot of, like for example, in December in Joburg, most everybody, it's festive season. They go home. They go to the villages. There are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of villages and when they go home, they don't wear the skinny jeans. They don't wear the polo shirt. They gotta wear what they wear at home. Even when they, with their whole wedding process, they have a traditional wedding, and then they have what they call it, based off their culture, or I'm screaming like a white wedding. They do both. And so forth. So what I will do, Scott, is to tell you this. Most people only know of like 3 cities in South Africa, and they don't realize there's probably like 100, and that's not including the villages. So if you want a true, authentic experience, they do try to bring it to where you are, but you can always, jump in a car, go down to Ladysmith, and we don't say KwaZulu-Natal here, we say KZN. And you can go to KZN and sit down and drink, the beers that they drink, not like the canned beers. The beers that they make, and sit down and just chill as a black guy. You can just chill. You can go anywhere. There's no limit. So the answer to your question is, yeah, there are plenty places here in South Africa. There is no just one place. It's like everywhere. I don't know if that helps you, but it's everywhere. You can go anywhere.
Okay, thanks. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
I was just wondering, like, how much you would recommend for, say, like a single male, like if they were coming for that first, like let's say I wanted to stay renew my tourist visa and stay for 6 months. How much would you recommend that I have saved up before I come?
Okay. It all depends. And the reason, so let's say you're a single male, like you just said, and let's say you want to stay middle of the road, like a nice apartment or extended stay quarters, which is very nice. They're going to come clean them. I mean, they're going to wash your clothes for you. They're going to take care of you. Pretty high class. I would say probably for a month, you're probably going to need roughly about, with food, good everything, maybe about $1,300 a month. Maybe.
Oh wow.
Maybe. Yeah, and I'm talking about high end. Or you can skimp a little bit on your accommodations a little bit. Do your little Uber thing, and then you could probably cut that down to about $800 easy. And then that'll give you an opportunity to, if you're going to stay 6 months, you can kind of, get to know the area. You're going to meet tons of people. So if you'll be killing yourself if you don't talk to people. If you just, well, I don't know them like Americans do. But if you just go there and say, hey, look, this is who I know. I'm Scott. I'm Scott, and this is what I'm talking about doing. They're going to connect you with 30 people, and then those 30 people are going to connect you with 30 more people. Which then in 6 months you'll be pretty much set up, and then you'll be looking at trying to transition over if you can.
Man, I know you married, Mark, but how the ladies look? Like how they look?
No, it's tight over here. It's 50-50 here. It is. I mean, you see just as many men as you see women, and I don't know. Not even talking about the white people. I don't even know them like that. I mean, I got a few people that maybe 2 or 3 I know, but the rest of everybody else is black. But yeah, it's a good look. It's a straight good look, and then it's just a good look. That's basically all I really can tell you. Yeah, you really can't go wrong. You really can't.
Okay, so like I said, Mark, because of you, I'm gonna come down there. Like I'm gonna come back. I don't know when, because I'm primarily in West Africa, but I'm gonna come.
Yeah,
South Africa.
Yeah, but like I said, bro, we jump on the phone a lot. We have conversations with people, and a lot of people find us through our social media platforms, our Facebook page, and whatnot. And then they start following and seeing what we're doing, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know." And most people they just don't know, And I will blame a lot of that on South Africa tourism. If they're listening, they know who I am, and a lot of it because they just because of the position that they are in as far as being like one of the most well sought after places on the continent to come. They don't feel like they need to do anything to attract people, so they don't put a lot of effort in trying to reach African Americans. So that's where we fall in. We just put it out there, and like I said, I've yet to have one person come here and say, "Oh, I don't like it," or "I don't like this." Whatever inhibitions they had, whatever, I give them a day and a half, and then I say, "Remember on the phone when you asked me all those questions?" I said, "Let's talk about it." And they're like, "Mark, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." So it's a good look on this side.
Mark, there's this I forgot the name of it, man, but it's just it's like this pudding cake. Man, it's so good. I had it before.
Marble pudding.
Yes.
It's marble pudding, yeah. Ridiculous, ain't it?
Man.
Yeah. Yes. You can go ahead. Hey, you can go ahead and have your what's that, cherry pie and all that good stuff.
Man,
Okay.
that marble pudding.
Yeah. There's a lot of delightful things here. Lots and lots and lots. It's black people. I mean, they're no different than we are. Once you start having conversations, you realize they might use a whole different term, but they're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, man, I could eat just a whole thing, and I could eat a whole sheet of that marble pudding, man. I had that. I was like, oh God.
You put a little cream on it, and then you could be crazy with it. Hey. Yeah, there's a cream sauce to go with it. There's a cream sauce, and then you can also put ice cream on it.
Yeah,
done. You're done.
Oh, that's right. The cream sauce. Yeah, the cream sauce. That's fine. Yeah. The cream sauce is good. So, Mr. Steve, do you have any other questions?
Yeah. So, why do you think the South African government hasn't put forth any kind of campaign to get more African Americans there? It seems like it would be like the perfect place for a lot of people who don't want to, I guess, go back and be too involved in the indigenous culture. It seems like it's really westernized, and a lot of African Americans would gravitate towards it, especially with organizations like yourself trying to put out the real information as opposed to just the negative stuff that we see. But it seems like Ghana, their investment has reaped a lot of benefits for them, and I know they can't do the same thing as like a year of return, but I don't see why they couldn't easily put together their own kind of campaign to bring more Western blacks to the continent.
Okay, that's an easy question. It's too softball. What the issue is this? It's a couple things. First of all, everything is numbers driven. I've sat down I've seen the presidential emails. I've sat down with the CEOs or whatever, and we've had these same conversations, and it's numbers driven. What do I mean by that? When they show me like who was coming through the gates at OR Tambo Airport, and when you look at the numbers, it's like, Europe, the European breakdown, and it's like 40 to 50% of their tourism dollars are coming from Europe. So they're not going to give that. They're going to spend that money. They're going to do what they got to do. The other part of that money is coming from China. China's gate numbers are ridiculous, and they've been that way for a long time, meaning that these people are actually coming here creating jobs. And when I say create jobs, when you come here, if you came here as a tourist right now, Scott, trust me, you'll be creating a job for somebody that lives here. And so this country is like I said, 24 million people are in the tourism space. So they're not going to take a chance, a flat out, a massive chance to say, okay, let's just take some of this money and start putting it over here. Now they do have an outreach. Don't get me wrong. They got a 4-man office in New York City that handles all North America, and take it for what it's worth. However, a lot of people don't realize is that Africa in general, and I can just think about Botswana because I've had a conversation with them. They need that tourism dollar. They're gonna do what they got to do to get tourism dollars. The one thing that I can tell you is that South Africa, right now, currently, because of COVID, but right now they're leading the way because they have the infrastructure. Everybody wants to come here on the continent and in Europe to have meetings. That's money, and they got to spend their money where they're getting their return on their, ultimately is their return on investment. They don't know what the return on investment would be in America. They just don't know. So that's why we're working with them to try to say, hey, let's market to African Americans. We spend $68 billion on tourism annually. We need to be coming here. And so that's why I will quickly throw South Africa tourism under the bus. But I understand why they do what they do. They gotta keep people fed. They gotta create jobs. There's a lot of people here that like literally take all their money and open a B&B. They need to stay full. They open up attractions. They make attractions. They need people coming, and they don't know if Americans going to come. So if you're looking at 5% coming through the gate of their total numbers are African Americans or Americans, which include white Americans, and their big numbers are Europeans broken down through countries, and then Asians, they're running a business. So it makes sense. So we have to come through the gate. Once we start coming through the gate, they're gonna start opening up visa programs for us. They're gonna start doing all kinds of stuff. They want to do these things. Unfortunately, we're not showing, as we used to say back in the 80s, showing and proving. If you ain't showing and proving, then why would I do that? It's just that simple. And because and the last part is when they talk about spending this money, they say, like we say in the States, this is taxpayers' money. This is South African taxpayers' money. So we got to spend it the best way we can to get a return.
Okay.
Just
one other thing. What's the quality of the food like? I've heard like that.
Scott, I would say this: the food in South Africa is good.
Whatever you think is good, whatever steakhouse you think is good, whatever you thinking. Because trust me, I eat well. I eat very well here, and especially when I was in the States. I thought I was eating well in the States until I came here. The food is ridiculous.
No,
matter of fact, go ahead.
I was just like referring because like I know like Monsanto's in there. I was just worried about like the access to quality organic food. Like here it's through the roof as far as the cost. I just wanted to make sure that stuff was easily accessible there.
Yes, actually it is. Actually you can probably get yes. The answer to that question is yes. The food quality here is outstanding. Like there were foods there were certain vegetables I didn't even eat until I got here because they just taste better. Most every tourist that we came here, the first thing they say, and I'm sure I can get some backing on this, the food. Why does the food taste so good? Why is it so better? Because like right now, I live outside of I live at a Gulf estate, but every day I see cows walking up and down in those fields over there. I see them. That's my food sitting right there. When I go from Lee Johannesburg or Joburg and go to Durban, and I see all those areas that you asked about earlier, where where the traditional people live, they're farming. They're literally farming. I see miles and miles and miles of farmland that blacks actually own. But you don't hear about that. So the only reason you're hearing about Monsanto because Monsanto is trying to get up in here. And unfortunately, the South Africans are like, they ain't having it. They are because they like with the way they eat and they know they do very well. Versus because I've had a few South Africans say I went to the US and they say the food is nasty.
Yeah.
I've heard it. Yeah. In comparison.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for answering my questions. I know from what I've seen, South Africa probably isn't going to open until the beginning of next year. But I probably will go to Namibia first and then transition down, and I'll book a tour through you guys.
Sure. Like I said, we're here. South Africa ain't going nowhere.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out, Mr. Blanton. Anything you'd like to share in closing, and shout out your page again so people go and subscribe. And thank you for joining. Sure. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, just like I said again, the one thing that I want to say to any Black American, I know these are tough times, and it's hard for us to sit here and watch our CBS, ABC, NBC news, and it's sad to see what we see, knowing it's not happening outside of my door, for one. So if you can, start forming a relationship with Africa. You don't have to. I'm not saying you got to leave America. I'm not making you leave. I'm not telling you got to leave America. But just form a relationship with Africa, just so you can get another point of view, for one, and for two. As far as we're concerned, like I said, we're doing our best to get the word out. So it really does help that if you go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com. Our Facebook is Facebook, / The Real South Africa. And then also our YouTube channel, we just kind of started working on that, and it's doing pretty well. And there's a lot of South Africans that are in there that you can actually interact with. Once you start commenting, they will say hi to you and whatnot. You can start forming a relationship right there. And of course, that's youtube.com / therealsouthafrica.com.
Absolutely, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, Mr. Blanton. Thank you so much for joining.
No problem.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go to dynastymir.com. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Mr. Blanton, I'm gonna reach out to your guy, the business.
Oh yeah, there. Yeah. He's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him. So everyone, thank you so much for joining. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Cool.